We're staying in the convertingunits.dwg file, and what I've done is I've left the drawing in the same state as it was at the end of the last video. So what we've done there is we've converted our units to the metric millimeters using the scale factor of 25.4, and I've left the rectangle in that metric setting. Now, something you will notice down at the bottom of the screen in the status bar is we've still got an annotation scale that is imperial. If I click on the flyout menu there, you'll notice that I've got all of my metric scales as well as, obviously, my imperial scales. Now, if you only want metric scales, slide down the scale bar here and go to Custom, and you'll see there that you can reset everything if you need to. So you can actually remove scales if you want to. You can select Delete, or you can reset. So if I click on Reset, it prompts me, do I just want metric scales, imperial scales, or metric and imperial? I'm now in metric, so I might only want metric scales, and as you can see, there's only metric scales in the list now. So when I go here like so, I can pick something like 1:1, and it changes accordingly. So just be aware of that with the scaling and the annotation scale. Now, what we want to look at is also our options and our settings, because what we've done is we've converted a drawing from imperial units to metric units. So what we're going to do now is just right click anywhere in the drawing area and open up the options dialog box by clicking on options in the shortcut menu. Now you'll notice there it's prompting me, do I want to sign into my A360, because it's AutoCAD has remembered that I was in the online tab last time. I'm not too worried about that right now. I'm going to go to the files tab, and you can see that there's all the locations of the files that AutoCAD uses. There's my display tab. I can set all my display settings, my open and save settings. So you'll notice there I'm saving automatically back to a 2013 DWG file format. As I mentioned at the beginning of the course, the exercise files are all saved back to that 2013 DWG file format in case you're not using the latest version of AutoCAD. Plotting and publishing there, you'll notice that I can set all the settings in there as well. The system settings are quite important. Things like hardware acceleration. Are you using the right graphics card? You can set up things like the current system pointing device, which is your mouse. User preferences as well. Right-click customization. Do you want to use a different right-click setting? So I can go in there and I can set all my right-clicks settings for my mouse, for example. Now, this is the important bit. Remember, we've converted our drawing. So our source content units now should really be millimeters, and also our target drawing unit should also be millimeters, not inches anymore, because we've converted it up to a different unit setting. And when I'm drafting as well, also settings for auto snap, auto track, things like your aperture size, which is the little square on your crosshairs, any auto snap marker sizes. So these are the markers when you're using your object snaps. There's lots and lots of different settings. You've got 3D modeling settings if you're working in 3D. You've got selection settings depending on how you select the objects in AutoCAD as well. So things like, do you want to show the grips when you're selecting objects? Do you want to show the grips within blocks when you select a block? You can also specify your own profiles as well. Now, this is something that I don't recommend doing if you've only just started using AutoCAD, but you can set up profiles that might work with different ribbon settings and different workspaces like we mentioned previously when we changed the workspaces in AutoCAD. So you can have a profile that is set up with a particular workspace, for example. And the online tab obviously works with your A360 account when you're logged in. At the moment, I'm not logged in, so it's prompting me to sign in, and then I can set my A360 settings. So there's a lot of information there in the options, and if I just cancel that to go back into the drawing, all those options define on how you use AutoCAD. So it's up to you how those options are set when you're working in AutoCAD, and also depend on the environment in which you work. Your CAD manager might have all your options set a particular way, and he doesn't want them changed because everybody uses AutoCAD in the same way, and you might have 25 to 100 people using AutoCAD, and the CAD manager doesn't want all the interface changed and the options changed. So he might set them the way that he wants them. He might lock them down so that only he has permissions to change them as well. So the options are there to control how you use AutoCAD, but more importantly, how AutoCAD is set up for you to use as well.